Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of The Sauce. Continuing on NFL Week 3. Chargers, Steelers in Pittsburgh. Let's do it.
Welcome to The Sauce. The Sauce. Sauce. Hey, get the sauce.
All right, like I said, Chargers are on the road in Pittsburgh for this one. Steelers are laying 1.5 across the board right now. Was at 2. Must have taken some Chargers money, bought it down to 1.5. Total sitting all the way down at 35.5. Gives you a pretty good idea of what they're expecting here. Not a lot of points. Let's take a look at the pie charts, and they look kind of as you would expect them to look. Public's coming in on the Steelers at home, short favorite here. Sharp action seems to be in on the Chargers, which makes sense. We saw the number get bought down. But like I always say, take this data with a grain of salt. So let's talk about this matchup. This is going to be a shorter video. I was having trouble finding angles here. This is a brand new look Chargers offense here. Greg Roman is the OC. Obviously, Jim Harbaugh is the head coach. So entering the season, what were we expecting to see here? I mean, Greg Roman, known for running the football, right? So Harbaugh brings him in to coach the offense here, and it seemed like a weird fit because the Chargers have always been a passing team with Justin Herbert and all those receivers. Well, they're running it. J.K. Dobbins, through 2 games, has 266 rushing yards, averaging almost 10 yards per carry. He's broken some long ones in there. The Chargers as a team are 4th in the NFL in yards per carry, 9th in rushing success rate, 5th in rushing EPA. Look at the offensive line. 9th in adjusted line yards, 14th in run blocking grade, 1st in yards before contact. So this run game, this Greg Roman run game, seems to be working. And I mean, if you look at the personnel, they did make some changes that kind of fall in line with that. They brought in 2 new pieces on the offensive line. They drafted Joe Alt, first offensive line taken in the NFL draft. They also brought in Bozeman to play center from the Ravens. This is already a decent offensive line last year. And then you also add in the fact that instead of Austin Eckler, who's more of a pass-catching, open field type of back, you got Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins in the backfield now, 2 guys that can run the ball between the tackles. And look at Greg Roman's rushing numbers with Baltimore. 2020, 2021, 2022. 1st, 12th, and 2nd. Now, yes, having Lamar Jackson certainly helps with these numbers, but if you watch the Ravens offense in those years, they were running the football with or without Lamar Jackson. They were running the ball. So is it that hard to believe that this new Chargers offense could work? I mean, I think it was maybe hard to swallow for a lot of us because we've never really seen it with Justin Herbert. This offense has always been almost the complete opposite, but here they are, 3rd in run frequency this year. They're running the football, and it seems to be working. Now, we do have to consider the competition. I mean, they've played the Panthers and the Raiders. The Panthers are just terrible across the board. Raiders might have a decent run defense, but as a whole in that game, it's not like the Chargers ran all over the Raiders. It was more so the Raiders gave the game away to the Chargers. So we do have to consider who they've played so far. This is going to be an ultimate test. Do the Chargers actually have a rushing attack or not? They're on the road in Pittsburgh, and this Steelers team, last year they were weak against the run. The strength of this Steelers defense has been the pass rush for 2 straight years now. But I'm starting to think that this Pittsburgh defense can stop the run as well this year. They're 6th in yards per carry allowed, 11th in success rate against the run, 3rd in run defense EPA. Here are their numbers from last year. I just mentioned 4.4 yards per carry. That was 22nd in the NFL. So they're off to a much stronger start in terms of defending the run this year. And if you look at their personnel, it makes sense. They brought in Patrick Queen to play linebacker from the Ravens, and Landon Roberts is healthy this year. He was banged up a little bit last year, and they also had some other significant injuries at the linebacker position. So instead of last year, with just a battered linebacking core, now you got a healthy Landon Roberts and Patrick Queen at inside linebackers. So I think we need to throw out what we know about the Steelers defense in terms of defending the run. This was a below average run defense last year. I don't think that's what they are. Their defensive line with Cam Hayward has done a great job up front. 8th in adjusted line yards, 7th in run defense grade, 10th in yards before contact, so they're not getting bullied on the defensive line. They played Atlanta, who has an offensive line that I think is very underrated. I think the Falcons' offensive line is going to be pretty good this year. Well, they couldn't really run the ball against Pittsburgh, and that was at home in Atlanta. 22 carries, 89 yards, 4 yards per carry. So, look, I know this new Greg Roman Chargers offense, it looks pretty good. It looks like that actually might be a run game we have to respect this year, but I'm not sure we can count on it being there on the road in Pittsburgh. I think there's going to be pressure on Justin Herbert to make plays here, and that's something we haven't really seen yet this year. On the season, Justin Herbert is averaging just 137 pass yards per game, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick, a passer rating of 95.7. Decent numbers. It's not that Justin Herbert's been bad. They just haven't asked him to do anything yet, and I think that's going to change because, like I said, I think the Pittsburgh defense is able to stifle, nice vocab word there, stifle the Greg Roman Chargers rushing attack, and we're finally going to see Justin Herbert put in a position where he needs to make plays, and that could be a problem because what else do we know about the Steelers defense? They're coming for the quarterback. They're 3rd in pressure rate, 2nd in pass rush grade so far, just 23rd in adjusted sack rate. So the sacks haven't really been there per se, but they're generating consistent pressure, altering the quarterback. Now, we do have to mention the Chargers offensive line numbers again, because like I said before, they're playing well, not just creating space in the run game. They've also done a really good job in pass protection as well. 4th in pressure rate allowed, 11th in pass blocking grade, 4th in adjusted sack rate. So the Chargers offensive line, they've done a great job giving Justin Herbert time to throw. That being said, on the road in Pittsburgh's a little bit of a different animal here. I mean, TJ Watt's playing out of his mind. And what concerns me is, yes, the offensive line has done a good job keeping Justin Herbert safe in the pocket. But in the rare instances he has been pressured this year, he has not been good. 6 of 10, 47 yards, no touchdowns, a pick, a 32.1 passer rating. So now we got this offense on the road in Pittsburgh. That run game they've been relying on might not be there. That elite pass protection we've seen so far might not be there. Justin Herbert's going to be put in a position where he has to make plays with his arm. His receivers from last year are gone. We haven't really even noticed that yet because the run game's been there. We don't know what this Chargers offense looks like when the run game isn't there. I think this is a really tough spot for the Chargers offense, but obviously it's not exactly a hot take. The total for this game is 35.5, so obviously everyone agrees with that. But now let's flip it over to the other side and look at the Steelers offense, and wow, I mean, this has been bad. 28th in the NFL in yards per play, 29th in success rate. Look at the rushing numbers. 28th in yards per carry, 29th in rushing success rate, 29th in rushing EPA. The reason those are especially concerning is that going into this season, I think a lot of us were expecting the Steelers to run the ball. The second half of last season, the Steelers found their run game, right? Jalen Warren got going. Even Najee Harris was starting to make some plays. We haven't seen that so far this year. I mean, Najee Harris, 3.8 yards per carry. Justin Fields, 3.8 yards per carry. Jalen Warren, 4.5 yards per carry, but he's only had 11 carries on the season. He's been banged up. Maybe now that Jalen Warren's getting healthier, he starts getting more touches, starts being more of a change of pace back. Maybe that sparks things in the run game. As far as the offensive line, they're 14th in adjusted line yards, 12th in run blocking grade. So they haven't been terrible, just 24th in yards before contact, though. We just saw the Steelers struggling to get the run game going on the road in Denver. That's concerning because I don't think anyone expects the Broncos to have a good run defense this year. 36 carries, 141 yards, 3.9 yards per carry. Now, something I will say about these numbers, Justin Fields kind of skews them because Najee Harris and Jalen Warren both have pretty efficient days running the football. So I will say, you look at these numbers and you might think, the Steelers weren't able to run the ball in Denver. That's not exactly how it went down. When they handed it off, they were able to run the ball. So that there is a glimmer of hope there with the Steelers' rushing offense. So overall, I'm not giving up on this Steelers run game. I said before the season I expected the Steelers to be able to run the football this year. I still think that's true. Not going to let 2 games throw me off that. I think now that Jalen Warren is healthier, getting more and more touches, we're going to start to see them improve. Also, they've had a left guard out, Samalu. He hasn't played a game yet this season. He's listed as questionable, so maybe he comes back. But basically, the point I'm trying to make is I don't think we should bail on the Steelers run game. I still think they're going to be able to run the football this year. But this is not going to be a walk in the park. The Chargers defense have been playing out of their minds. 3rd in the NFL in yards per play allowed, 1st in success rate, 1st in EPA. Look at their run defense numbers. 10th in the NFL in yards per carry allowed, 2nd in success rate, 1st in EPA. They've been elite against the run. Obviously, we have to consider who they played. They played the Panthers. No need to elaborate on that one. And the Raiders. And it's not that the Raiders have been a practical joke bad team. They did just beat Baltimore in Baltimore, but they can't run the ball. The Raiders can't run the football. I'm not throwing the Chargers defense a parade from shutting down the rushing attacks from Carolina and the Raiders. No, I mean, this Chargers run defense should be improved, no doubt. Perryman and Henley is a super underrated linebacking core there in the middle. So I do think this Chargers run defense will be solid this year, but it's not this good. It's not top 5 in the NFL. So even though when you look at the Steelers rushing numbers on the year, and then you look at the Chargers run defense numbers on the year, you might be like, the Steelers aren't going to be able to run the ball in this game. I call bullshit on that. I think the Steelers are going to be able to run the football in this game. Actually, I think that's the only angle I like in this game is I think the run game might be there for Pittsburgh. Everything else, I mean, who knows, man? You want to talk about Justin Fields? 69.8% completions, 136.5 yards per game, 1 touchdown, no picks, and 94 passer rating. He has made some throws. I mean, I'm not an anti-Justin Fields guy. I like them a lot at Ohio State. I've always been cool with Justin Fields. I'm not like a blind fade of him, but by no means do I trust him as a passer with my money. So I don't know. As far as betting this game, I don't even want to talk about this game anymore, to be honest. So as far as betting this game, it would only be Steelers. I'm a little worried that it's one of the more square plays on the board. I would imagine most of the public's coming in on Pittsburgh here. But I truly think they win this game. I think they're going to be able to run the ball. I think we're really going to see a wake-up call from the Chargers offense when that Greg Roman rushing attack all of a sudden isn't automatically 4.5 yards. So, yeah, I think the Steelers win this game. You can get a money line at -120. Don't have any money on it currently, but Steelers money line. That's my pick for the video, Steelers money line. If I was to bet this game, it would be Pittsburgh money line. I would imagine most sharps are coming in on the Chargers. I disagree. I think the Steelers win this game, but I don't know if I actually end up betting it. If you want to see all the bets I do have open, head over to KyleKirms.com and click on Open Bets. You'll see all mine as well as everyone on the staff here. Also, when you sign up for Sauce Network Plus, you get access to the Discord, and you can participate in the weekly betting league. $150 and one of these trophies to the winner every single week. So if you're interested in any of that, head over to KyleKirms.com, sign up for the website. Live shows, College Football Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern Time up to kickoff. We'll be live for 2 straight hours going through 29 games we got lined up. And then NFL Sunday, 11 a.m. up to kickoff. We'll go through every single game on the board. So if you're able to make the live shows, would love to see you in the comments. Let's have ourselves a nice NFL Week 3, man. Let's get some momentum going, grab some W's. Yeah, let's have a good one. Talk to you in the Discord.